Welcome, everyone. My name is Cindy Tevens, author of The Happiness Lie, What Generations Have Been Told That Makes You Unhappy, and Alchemy, How to Feel Good No Matter What. You know, I was at a business meeting once where I told people, the subtitle of Alchemy, How to Feel Good No Matter What, and eyes rolled, and people said, yeah, sure. Until I told them that what led me to it was the extreme depression and struggle my father had with stress and suffering, which led to depression and subsequently to dying by suicide. And I promised my dad that it would not be for nothing, and it started me on a quest to find an end to suffering. And years later, in the middle of my own unrelated suffering, it happened. And I had been studying everything I could, reading everything I could, searching, seeking, and I didn't find it in anything I read. And oddly enough, or not oddly enough, I found it within, as where it only ever is, and where we are always told to look. But we tend to keep on reading. The answer is going to be somewhere else, outside of me, in another person, in some guru, in some practice. But ultimately, it's within, and only within, because that's where the problem is. And so the happiness lie. What is the happiness lie? The happiness lie is the belief that things, people, or events make us happy or unhappy. And our society is littered with this sentiment to such a degree that it's unconscious. People don't even know that they do it. And when I bring it up, people will often defend and say, no, I know nobody can make me happy. But if someone can make you happy, then by necessity they can make you unhappy. And the truth and the reality of our experience is that people appear to make us unhappy, which means we're believing the happiness lie. And so how do you detach from needing things, people, or events? Well, you don't actually ever need things, people, or events, so you don't really need to detach. You're not stuck onto anything like a new phone or a new car or a new person. There's no actual string between you and them. You're not actually attached. It's all got to do with thought and belief. And we do believe that things make us happy, which causes two things. One, suffering, and limited joy. What I found is when you cut these false or illusory ties, then the suffering drops away and the joy is unleashed more and more and more as you quit listening to the mind and start feeling the truth. I did a presentation 2 nights ago where I worked with a fellow who wanted to feel joy. And I asked him, how does joy feel? And he checked into the body. And in a few minutes, not too long, he said, it's like a bubbling up and laughter. And he started to laugh. And then he shut it down. And I went, whoa, 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 what was that? He said, doubt arose. Doubt. And then he burst out laughing because I said, what was the doubt about? Well, the doubt was that it wasn't laughter. And I said, okay, so in the middle of bubbles, the sensation of bubbles and laughter arising, doubt can come and say, but that's not laughter. That's not whatever it said. You see, I can tell you that the stove is hot. That doesn't mean the stove is hot. How do you know for certain, for sure, the stove is hot? You have to touch it. This is direct knowledge, direct experience, not a thought about experience or truth. And so he started to laugh. A thought came in that doubted his actual experience, and he believed the thought, and he lost the joy. It happened like that. But I noticed it, I witnessed it, and everybody else in the room witnessed it. And it was a big aha moment to realize that that's what goes on. Without watching, you don't know. All you think is, I lost the joy. or it wasn't joy, or it doesn't work, or whatever mind can throw up. And it is almost like vomit. All you know is what mind throws up, instead of actually noticing the direct truth, which is so much more beautiful and joyful and playful and enjoyable. So that's what my work is now, is walking people through thought versus reality, happiness versus suffering, what causes it, and how to shift back out of it. I'm just going to stop and see if we have any questions anywhere on the chat box or live with my guest. Questions or comments? Okay, looks like none live. And if you want to direct anybody to this event, you can go to alchemylovejoy.com, and there'll be there's always a link there to learn how to join live or to just watch from the comfort of your own home. And you can also type questions in the chat box that I will get, that I can answer live for you. So yes, the happiness lie that limits our joy and maximizes our pain, and we wonder why society is in such a wreck. You know, to me it's obvious now. It wasn't so obvious before, when I wasn't paying attention to what was actually going on in my experience. And everybody, if you watch close enough, can prove this to yourself in your own experience. There are so many ways, because your direct experience is always pointing the truth out to you every moment. Not one moment are you not hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, breathing, sensing a thought. I had one client say, it happens so fast. Thought, that is. Yes, thought happens so fast. How you slow things down is you feel into the body. So feel your feet, the top of your head, take in your peripheral vision, and just follow the breath. Notice it moving in and moving out. And do that for an in-breath and an out-breath all at once. This should feel calming, quiet, because you've taken the power, your power of attention, away from the stream of thinking and put it in the senses all at once. If it's hard or stressful, it's because you're trying to contract your power of attention from your feet to your head, feet to your head, feet to your head, or something like that. Feet, head, eyes, breath. You know, you can't do it. You can't do it. You have to relax and open. Start with one body part and then add another. I call this coming to your senses. And we use it in our sessions, in our one-on-one sessions. 2, slow things down. It slows the mind down so you can be aware of everything that's going on inside and outside. When people suffer, they contract down onto one thing, to the elimination of everything else, which is why we call, being very angry a blind rage. You become blind, deaf, and ignorant to what's going on around you, to the car you cut off, or to the person who's in pain in front of you, to your own yelling. You may not even know that you're yelling, or that your high-pitched voice has gone up a notch. We've all experienced it, and we can break out of it. Step down. Come to your senses. And from here, you have access to wisdom and knowledge and information you didn't have. See, I don't teach people anything. I help them shift state. And we use the body to do that. Because when you shift state, everything changes. Your access to information changes, your perspective changes. You see things in a completely different light. You have all the knowledge and wisdom within you that you need. You just don't access it when you're contracted, when you're hurting. So there's lots of reasons to do this, to end your own suffering, to end other people's suffering, to open up to creativity, productivity, sensibility. It takes practice. So I encourage everyone to have an experience of this with someone who can facilitate for them, walk them through it, walk them through shifting their state from something that feels bad to something that feels good. Keep them moving in that direction no matter what mind throws up, because it will. And the habit has been, as soon as mind throws up a question, we answer it. It's like a knee-jerk response. But you don't have to answer it. You can question your thought. You can say it doesn't matter. You can dismiss it. If you dismissed every single thought you ever have from hereafter, you wouldn't be harmed from it, and you'd be peaceful. Of course, some thoughts are useful. We don't want to eliminate all of them. But we need precious little of them. You don't need a thought to walk. You don't even need a thought to talk if you pay attention. It happens naturally. It flows out effortlessly. It's only when we engage in a thinking mind called ego that things become hard, complicated. They take effort. But just the practice of eliminating unnecessary thoughts is an excellent one to engage in. Whether they hurt or not, they're not necessary. And this means, how do you do that? Bringing your power of attention into the body and holding it there. This is pulling the plug on thinking. You might sense a thought hovering, the potentiality of a thought. That's okay. You stay in the senses. So this lie that we've been taught has made everybody go out and try to manipulate the outside to get what they want because they think it'll make them happy. So we manipulate our partners and we call it love. It's really attachment and need. It's a stressful way to live and not very useful for you or others. And this lie is what has resulted in all kinds of interpersonal problems, confusion, misunderstandings. Because if you're always on the lookout for what you need to make you happy or to keep you from being unhappy, there's a big, ugly mask in the way between you and everybody else. I would even say the happiness lie is what's resulted in our wars, our atrocities, human suffering of every kind. Outer peace begins with inner peace. That's how important you are to the whole world, not just to your own experience, but to world peace. Some people think the thought will arise, it's selfish to be happy. No. When you're happy, it just oozes out of you on everybody else. If you're not happy, how are you going to give happiness, love, peace, joy? You have nothing to give. So the most important thing you could do is take care of yourself inside. Turn away from the outside and deny it. and become self-fulfilling, become so full of love and joy, you can't hurt anybody, and nobody can hurt you. This frees not just yourself, but everybody from you. I'm going to look again to the, see if we have any questions regarding this, or if anybody would like to have an experience of shifting state on any subject. You're quite invited to take the opportunity now, because it only comes right now once a month, unless you join my membership program, the online Inner Alcove, inneralcove.com, and then you can actually access me at least once a week, and then some, and have your own personal life-altering, fundamentally life-altering shifts. Okay, no questions yet here. Any comments live to my live guest here? How has the practice been for you?
Life-changing.
How so?
Well, when you first asked the question, what do you want? I think I was like most people in that I said what I didn't want.
Yes.
And you're so in tune with knowing what you don't want,
yes.
When someone asks you what do you want, it's not a question that you're asked.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that illustrates, the existence of the happiness lie. Because people will ask, well, why do we do that? Why are we so good at knowing what we don't want and have such difficulty answering what we do want? And I've got a couple reasons for that. And one is that we have believed that if we figure out what we don't want out there, we can manipulate it, we can change it, and then we'll be happy. And so we've been focused on the outside all this time. Got to find it. What's doing that to me? What's causing that to me? And of course, it's endless, because that's not the cause. And there's always another thing, and another thing, and another thing, and everything's always changing. And the other reason is this has been going on for so long that it's actually built into our language. I mean, we have very few good feeling words. I noticed this when I started to collect them, because it seemed people were having such great difficulty. So I made a list of antonyms to help people find the words. And I found we have so many suffering words and so few ones that describe happiness, love, joy, peace. In fact, that's about it. Happiness, love, joy, peace. We got about 4 words, okay? But we have all kinds of dissatisfied, hurt, judged, on and on and on and on and on and on and on words. So has our language contributed to this? I should say so. I think so. Or has our language evolved from it because of the happiness lie? I should think so as well. And so when we start changing the words we use, our experience starts changing, and vice versa. So yeah, sometimes it does take a while for people to come up with what they do want. And one example I heard, which I quite like, is, so say you went to a restaurant and the waiter comes over and you say, well, I don't want salmon, and I don't want couscous, and I certainly don't want spinach. And the waiter's standing there checking his watch, and like, it would be faster if, You told me what you do want. Because what you don't want is a huge, vast, endless realm of possibilities. You may starve. And that's what happens. We focus so much on what we don't want. We starve for love. We starve for happiness. We starve for inner peace. We do have more words for good feelings, but they're generally, it takes 3, 4, or 5 of them together in a sentence, or it's described as a color or some image that we have, like the fellow describing, bubbling up, laughter bubbling up. And so if we take our time, we do find them. And we must take our time. But it's like anything. You get better with it. And the other reason you have a hard time accessing what you do want is because you have been practicing what you don't want. And it comes really easily to you. But it's all very quickly reversible. Very quickly reversible. I mean, I was in the middle of the most intense suffering when it flipped over into love, joy, peace. It was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing because mind said, this can't be. See, that's what mind will do. It will tell you, blatant lie. It will tell you, that's not laughter. Meanwhile, you're laughing. You're laughing as long as you stay with the feeling and don't believe the thought. The moment you believe the thought, that's what happens. You lose it. So over time, as you keep practicing this, it becomes natural and automatic that you seek joy. I encourage everyone to seek joy, seek joy, seek joy. Because joy will take care of everything. It feels good immediately. There's relief. You stay with it longer. There's pleasure. And then comes clarity. So you've got nothing to lose except maybe the pain. And then you'll get some amazing ahas. During this practice, you can learn you're not a thought. Even if the thought contains the word I, me, or you in it, you're not the thought. That frees you from the thought. You can learn thoughts are powerless. They'll come and go, left alone. You'll learn how powerful you are. Where you put your power of attention and interest, that's what you'll get in your experience. And there's lots more to learn than that. Lots more to discover. But it's best you discover it on your own in your own direct experience, because otherwise you've collected it like all other knowledge you've ever collected, thought knowledge. And that's why people say, well, I know that mentally. But they'll say things like, I don't have it in my cell, or I don't have it in my bones, or something to that effect. Which means, yeah, they've got the thought knowledge. Any parrot can say, nobody can hurt me. But when the rubber hits the road, what's the reality of your experience? You hurt when you don't like what someone says or does. And it's not actually even what someone says or does that hurts you. If you pay attention, you can learn this too. It's never what someone says or do that hurts you. Those are just sounds. I mean, short of somebody actually physically hurting you, that doesn't count here. But mental, emotionally, they're just sounds. They can't hurt you. What hurts is the thought about what someone says or does. So we interpret it, we apply meaning. And our meaning is always negative. Why? Because we believe in the happiness lie that things, people, or events are going to hurt us. We have to watch out, so we're on guard. Fearful place to be, painful place to be. And when you're on guard, you're looking for what you don't want. Guess what? When you look for what you don't want, guess what? You get it. You get it. Mental, emotionally, it's not actually there, but you will have the experience as if it is. This is why the ultimate in forgiveness is to realize that what you thought happened never happened. It's complete, utter relief. Complete reversal of perspective. You know, villains become victims even. Compassion kicks in. So much value to caring how you feel and shifting it, no matter what is going on outside of you. And that's why alchemy is about how to feel good no matter what. No matter what is going on, you can do this. And then the pain and the dream, the bad dream, the nightmare, the illusion is over. Sometimes people use this to feel good in the moment, but it comes up again, and it comes up again, and it comes up again. And they think they haven't, done something right. They're not good enough for something, or again, maybe it doesn't work. But what they haven't done is the next step in the practice. Yes, you shift your state, but then you use that state and you look back on what you thought happened. And it's from the state. The power is in the state, not a thought. The power is in the state that you have the direct realization, oh my God, that didn't happen. And then the laughter breaks out. You've experienced the laughter, right, Beth?
Yes.
Literally, it can be like that. It really can. It's quite entertaining, actually. And you don't get it. You'd be sitting in the audience of me working with someone, and they're laughing, and you have no idea why they're laughing. Because you didn't get the shift that they got, the inner, internal shift. You didn't get the aha that they had. Maybe you didn't even have the attachment that they had. But sometimes you do have the attachment that they had, and just by following along inside of yourself, you get your ahas too and your laughter. So highly valuable to participate in these calls. Maybe find a friend who can be your practice partner and help you shift, someone who can facilitate it for you. The steps are available free on the website alchemylovejoy.com, the 7 questions. But I highly suggest you don't just try and do them on your own without first listening to a recording of me walking somebody through it. Those are available on the website also. Or actually joining an event and witnessing it. And the absolutely ideal, is to be walked through on your own so that you have your own direct experience of it. And that's like, I could tell you how to ride a bike, I could describe it, you could watch somebody do it. It's not the same as getting on the bike. So I invite you to join and participate at some point to get you on your way. Okay, I'm going to look again to see if we have any questions on the charts here. And it looks like no questions. Last time some people emailed me. I'm not checking email during these calls. So if you want to get a question, you need to get on that chat box. That's the best way to do it. Alchemy Love Joy, click on the webinar link, and you'll see it live there. So yeah, once again, to join the events, you can go to alchemylovejoy.com, and there'll be a calendar there with events and also links on how to access the Inner Alcove, which is a membership site where you can get all this good stuff. Okay, so you know what? I think I'll just walk everybody through an example. I don't even need to know the content of your problem. I don't even need feedback from you. It's best if I do one-on-one. But just to give you a taste, because you might be shy and don't want to join us, I'm going to ask you a few of the questions and guide you through it. So think of a time when you were feeling fine and then suddenly you weren't. Something happened, you saw something, heard something, and all of a sudden you feel bad. And in that moment, what do you want? Now, answer this like a child would, an innocent child. They want what they want. You know, if I took candy away from a child and they started to cry and I asked them what they wanted, they're not going to say, I just want to be at peace without the candy. No. They say, I want the candy, right? So what you want is going to be a thing, a person, or an event. And you should have the sense of that it's relief. If you find a sense of relief, you know you've got the right thing. And it should be pure. And it is very important that you answer this question correctly. Because if you don't, you're just not going to have a powerful shift. So in that moment, what do you want? And it has to be stated positively. And you'll come up with the mental answers, whatever it is. Why I want respect. Or I want to be accepted into the family. Or I want attention even. And don't judge whatever comes up. I had a client that said, I wanted attention. And they said, but I shouldn't want attention. Don't worry about whatever comes up because the next question will take care of it. You want what you want, and if you don't face what you want, you can't transcend it. You need to look at it. And it'd be very specific with what you want. Okay. Take some time to find what you want. And then the next question is, how does it feel? How does what you want feel? This is where you come to your senses. Feel your feet, the top of the head, take in the peripheral vision. Notice your breath moving in and moving out. How does what you want feel? Explore it fully. Allow whatever comes in that supports it. And if you notice anything that feels bad, ignore it. Come back to answering this question. How does it feel? And not how would it feel if you had it, whatever it is you think you want. That's the happiness lie. Attachment. Not if you had it. Again, more attachment. How does it feel? You do know how it feels, or you wouldn't have a sense of a problem. You couldn't be able to know how not having it feels. So take your time, feeling into the body, and answering the question, how does it feel? And once you connect up with it, and you have your power of attention in the body, you'll notice sensations. You'll notice some changes. You might notice relaxation, release in the body. Tension letting go. A natural contentedness. It might even become happiness. Notice all that. Notice the words that come up that support it, and enjoy it. Enjoy all of it. Just because you can. And then appreciate it. Just the fact that it's here for free. And notice what happens when you appreciate it. You'll notice changes in the body. You might notice warmth or tingling or expansion. You notice it gets better in some way. And then just enjoy that. And if you keep alternating, enjoying with appreciating, enjoying with appreciating, you'll find that it grows. When I discovered this, I experimented with it, and it grew and it grew and it grew to a point where mine said, whoa, whoa, wait a minute, you can't feel that good. Nothing's happened. And but I noticed it. And I said, no, 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 I prefer that, and I'm going back to that. And so I started over again, answering what I want, how it feels. And it grew again. And it grew past the point where previously mind shut it down, where I shut it down with mind is more accurate. And then I wondered, how good can it get? And I'll leave that for you to find out. Be curious. And then once you have this really good feeling state, sustain it as the most important thing, because it is. Hold on to it like a lifeboat. And then look back on what you think hurt you, but hold this. Stay here with it in the body. And this is where your natural wisdom will bubble up. You will see things you didn't see. Knowledge, wisdom will come out of nowhere. And laughter might even come at this point. Relief, release, detachment. And that's as far as I'm going to take you into the questions today, because you really need to be working with someone to continue with the rest. Well, maybe this one question. Is this how you prefer to feel? Yes, of course you do. And that just anchors it in. It's just a conscious recognition of, yes, I prefer this. The power of shifting your state is mind-blowing. You know, most people are out there trying to think a good thought. They're trying to take a bad feeling, which is very convincing, and force a little tiny happy thought on top of it. And I don't know if you've ever tried to do this. I tried it very, very seriously. So seriously, it was excruciating. I noticed that every time I tried this, I just hurt worse and worse and worse. Because I knew it wasn't real, it wasn't true, it wasn't genuine, I wasn't feeling it. I wanted the feeling, is what I discovered, that people don't want things, people, or events. They want the feeling they mistake them for. So this is another reason you need someone to help walk you through it, because the old habits are very strong. And the first few times you do it, you're going against everything you thought you knew, and you're going against the mind. And the mind will keep throwing something else out at you. Yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. And this you ignore. And someone keeps walking you through, keeping you moving in the right direction, keeping you feeling good. If you drop the feeling, you go back and you rebuild it up again. And each time you do that, it gets easier and easier to sustain. So do find a way to practice with somebody else, with myself, through theinneralcove.com. Another friend, get them to watch these videos, get them to read the books. Do as much as you can alone, but you'll go much further faster, more powerfully, if you get step through it. Going to check if there's any questions again, any comments? What happens is you have breakthroughs when you do this, and certain beliefs are rewritten or exposed as false or destroyed. And you can do this again and again, and so that your patterns don't keep coming up, because once a belief is destroyed, it's gone. You can never not know what you now know again, and it's over. Gradually, if this happens enough times, you can come to the conclusion, wow, it doesn't matter what I do this with, it gets wiped out too. And it can generalize out to the understanding of nothing can hurt you. No thing, person, or event can hurt you. And your joy can be unleashed because you no longer attribute it to something else, which is limited necessarily. Things, people, and events are limited. They have a start, they have an end, they come, they go. And plus we think we have this happiness hierarchy, I call it, where, you know, if you have an ice cream cone, you can be so happy. What about getting a new car? Even more happiness, right? New partner, and on it goes. But I'm here to say that you can have joy beyond any joy you've ever experienced for absolutely no reason, no outer reason. The only reason is because you are capable of it, because you have a body mind, and that's just the way it functions. And so blow past all the beliefs that have limited your joy. They're only self-imposed. But experiment, and don't take my word for it. If somebody told me this, I would have, yeah, maybe, okay, sure, I'll take it so far, you know. If it hadn't blown my mind, I probably wouldn't take it that seriously. So I'm urging you to take it seriously enough to start blowing your mind. Seek opportunities to blow your mind, to reverse everything, turn your whole world around, because that's what it can do, and then some. So, if there's no more questions or comments tonight, I'm good with wrapping it up. And just encourage you to connect with me in another way, through email, online, through the membership course, through downloading the 3 free chapters of the book and checking it out a little further. And I wish you love, joy, and peace. That is your birthright, because you're unlimited. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the joy, just because you can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.